One, two, three. Action.
Okay. Hello everyone. We noticed the good numbers of our viewers are not subscribing. We kindly ask you to please click on the subscribe button as it encourages us to keep recording videos for you to watch. Now, back to the video.
Hi guys, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
My name is Godbright, as mentioned in previous episodes, and this is my co-host, Julius Sanu. And today the core thing we wanted to discuss was getting started. So we'll be sharing our own experiences on our, let's say, entrepreneurship or entrepreneurial journey, how we both got started in the particular journeys that we are in, but we all go way back to when we really started. So I wanted to know, just take me back to the moment where you first thought of building something. Just that moment.
Oh, I see. Hello everyone. As I said, my name is Julius. So the moment I got that realization that I need to build something was, I think it was way back around, I can't remember the year, but it was a long time ago. You know, I was working for an energy company previously in Lagos, Nigeria. Then we were having like this gathering, and in that gathering, it's an anniversary of the company. I think the 8th anniversary of the company. Then the founders came around. We had like a gathering, right?
Yeah.
So they were talking about. Someone asked them a question: Why did they decide to venture into building what the startup is today?
Mm-hmm.
So they answered, and they were like, he had an idea. He spoke to a few of his friends, and they said, "Hey, let's just try building these things while we're working on our other jobs." And they decided to do that. And he further went ahead to explain different stories and challenges they encountered. But at that moment when they were talking, we didn't see the challenges they were facing. We didn't see anything going wrong. What we saw was progress with the company. So it was at that moment I listened to them, their story and their journey of why they decided to build the startup. I told myself that, it was even that night I got home, I was like, Julius, I think you need to start building something,
Yeah.
right? I need to be an innovator. I need to solve problems, build things, right? So I think that was the defining moment for me that I knew that, yeah, I need to venture into this space. Yeah.
That's quite interesting.
Yeah.
Actually. And for my own, it's way back when I was even more younger, let's say 15 or 16.
Yeah.
I was part of this club at school where we were being taught about computers and programming. So you would start with HTML. And then down the line, they would encourage you to actually use the skills that you get
Yeah.
to build something for your society.
Yeah, that
So
makes
it was
sense.
some sort of a club. Then it turned to incubation. Its name was NLab.
I see.
And yes, at the time, I was very much fascinated with robotics and air travel. So I thought of something around to do with drones, right?
Nice.
And the ideas that were around at the time was using drones for agriculture. So actually, that was my mission. And I started with something called Robotics for Africa, in
I see.
which, the vision itself was to build drones that can be used to capture images for crop surveillance, identifying diseases that the crops might be having, and those sort of things.
Yeah.
I think it was a lot of responsibility at a young age, but I'm very thankful to the organization because they really opened my mind to the world of building, the world of programming. And from there on, I think that chapter was already opened.
Yeah.
So as you can understand, from there on, you already have that inner motive to build and actually build something that can solve something in the
Yeah.
in the society.
hmm I also think it's important for people. It's not a must, but it's a plus where when you find yourself in an organization
Mm,
that is building something, a digital product, it
mm,
gives you the sense of how things are done, the processes they take to decisions, how they move things around, and
mm,
how they do things basically. So it's really important because having worked with that company, I saw how things are um, segmented. Different teams work together to achieve a common goal of the company, and I think it's important that anybody when you're starting something, I mean, experience is the best teacher, right?
yeah.
So gain experience from different industries you've been part of.
Mm,
So if you have to make the same decision, you put in those things you've learned there into what you're trying to build. Yeah, yeah, that's it.
yeah. That's actually very exciting, very exciting. And I know from the story that I gave and the story that you
Mm-hmm,
gave, you actually touched a bit onto how your, let's say, life
mm-hmm,
was like back then.
mm-hmm.
But I want you to at least go a bit deeper and paint for us a picture of how your life was at the time. Were you studying?
Uh,
Were you maybe attending university? Maybe, let's say, what level? And any other thing, any other aspect of your life that you would want to share with us.
okay. Prior to that moment of, is it like the moment of revelation that you need to build something? Um, I was working as a software engineer for a company, yeah,
Mm,
still in Lagos.
yeah,
It was a regular 9 to 5, right? And unfortunately, sometimes it was more than 9 to 5.
yeah,
Not because there was
most.
pressure from the company, but really because I wanted to put in my best. I was starting off. I
Exactly.
was a junior developer then,
Mm,
so I was starting off my career then. So I put in extra hours. So it was a 9 to 5 job. Nothing much. You get home late, and there was no reason to become a builder then, right? But
you just
what,
want to deliver what is being
yeah,
assigned to
yeah.
you.
But in doing that, right, I think I'll still go to my other points where I said experience is the best teacher. I think the CEO then is someone that you can see is a builder, is always churning ideas, like bringing up new ideas. So when we now had that gathering, right, I was like, yo, I need to really think, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
See how I can solve problems. This guy is there. He has all of these things like employers and all of that. He's always bringing up ideas and ideas and ideas and ideas like that. Yeah, at some point, he called me in his office and he told me, Julius, you're part of this builders teams, right? The
Mm-hmm.
idea team. So
Yeah.
it's not like a big thing, but what he was trying to do then was he was trying to make me understand that this department I'm in, whenever the company sees that they can build a new product, you be part of the team that will build that product because they
Yeah.
want to spin up fast.
Yeah.
So having been part of that for a few months, I think after that anniversary, I just told myself that, hey, you know what, Julius, let's do this, right? So life prior to that was just a regular 9 to 5,
Mm-hmm.
right? Going to work, coming back, not so much. There was no time to do anything because I get home late in Lagos because of traffic and all of that. But
Understand.
yeah, so life prior to all of those decisions was just a regular 9 to 5 and
Mm-hmm.
learning here and there on YouTube. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's very much understandable, and I
Mm-hmm.
think it's a shared sentiment
Mm-hmm.
to most of the builders. I think I would also ask you another
Okay.
question,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
and um, the initial one was when you first try to build something, but I understand that now you're actually working on something.
Yeah. Mm.
So, so what made you think of this particular thing that you're working on, and what actually pushed you to make sure you put in all the energy and everything to make sure that it comes to its fruition? Yes.
Yeah. Hmm. So while working as a 9 to 5 or working with different companies remotely, personally, I discovered that what I do was becoming repetitive.
Yeah.
Um, so I decided to take a step back and say, is it possible to automate this?
Okay.
Right. So from that question of automation, I decided to venture into building like a startup that I can use to automate regular tasks. So not a startup per se. It wasn't a startup. Just build a tool to
A
do that.
software
A
program.
software program, yeah, to do that. So I started doing bits of that. So there was a time they gave me a task to build like a package, right? It was interesting,
Yeah.
right? So the ability to be able to turn around, like to make a repeated task to an automated task, right? That you don't have to be there, that people can do. it's a thrilling. It gives you this good feeling.
Yeah.
I don't know. It gives me a good feeling. So I did that. I did that. Then at some point, I was like, you know what? Then I came to do my master's program. Right. It was during my master's program I took some entrepreneurship classes. So let's just say, while building those stuff, there was no business mindset.
Yeah,
Do you
exactly.
get? There was no
Most of the
business
time,
mindset.
you just
Yeah,
want to build
I just want
something
to
and see
build.
something work.
Yeah. So and thank God I did the master's program, and I attended the entrepreneurship classes. Then it was then I knew that, oh, rather than just building, you can build a business out of building.
Yeah.
Do you get? So I decided to take the classes, learned about the business part of it and everything. Then it was then I discovered that it's not just all about building. There's a business about building, right? So currently now I'm working on a startup that's into analytics. Then I knew that if I'm building, I need to build a business, right? So everything is a build up, right? I've started building like a few years ago, but just for regular tax. But now it's about how do you make it a business,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So I'll just say that has been the journey. This it's the adding a business to the building part of it is what made me venture into this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's yeah,
So if I ask myself the same question that I asked you,
yeah,
I think for me it was having a bit of time
yeah.
that I can actually utilize to do something,
Mm-hmm.
and at the same time having the power of three people. What I
Ah,
mean is now there are a lot of tools that you can actually use to streamline your work.
mm-hmm.
So as I've shared, I think in the previous episodes, I've been building different softwares up and down. So
Yeah.
as long as I have some time, I would want to build something. And at the same time, I've been very much inspired by there's this documentary on YouTube. It's a channel called Starter Story.
Mm-hmm.
They talk about people who they're called indie hackers, so
Yeah.
or solo entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
So someone will just come up with an idea,
Yeah.
or rather, they'll just do a research and find an idea on the internet that is making a lot of profit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll try to replicate it.
Yeah.
So now you know you can build things very
I
fast,
see. I see.
right?
Interesting.
So they'll just try to replicate it and build the same thing with the promise of making, let's say, profits as
Yeah.
the other
Mm-hmm.
companies
Mm-hmm.
making. So those documentaries has been inspiring me to build and build and build. But along the way, I encountered a lot of obstacles, especially when it comes to, you talked about business. So
Yeah.
initially, we really enjoyed building and
Yeah.
seeing
Yeah.
something
Mm-hmm.
working, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's that business part of it in which it would include getting paid for the service that
Exactly.
you're
Mm-hmm.
providing.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the major challenges that I got was to incorporate payment. Maybe
Yeah.
we
I
talk
see.
about the challenges that
Yeah.
you also
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
faced,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe the advices that you received from people.
Oh, okay.
But for me, one of the very major challenge was incorporating payment. And
Mm-hmm.
at the time, um, you would want to, let's say, have Stripe as payment, so that because you're building something that is
For the
global, that
globe.
can
Yeah.
be accessed by anyone.
Mm-hmm.
So you need a service such as Stripe. But now, in the country that we are in, there's no Stripe.
Yeah. I
So
see. Yeah. In Africa. Yeah.
yes. So
Most
what do you
country. Yeah.
do? You find a way to get incorporated, let's say maybe in the US or in the UK. There's a whole procedure around it.
Yeah.
So I think those are the issues. But I remember at the time I communicated with you and
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
gave me some good advices on how I can actually get incorporated in a
Mm-hmm.
different country.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually I got my Stripe account,
Yeah.
although there are still issues around it when it comes to let's say VAT and everything, but
Mm-hmm.
um, it's the challenges that we face and we find solutions around.
Yeah.
And you'll never know of these challenges if you don't actually start.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'll give you a chance to first talk about a challenge that you faced while
Mm-hmm.
building, and then second, an advice that you would give to people,
Mm.
and then third, an advice that you were given in the past, but if you start building now, you won't take the advice.
Maybe we'll do it one by one
Yeah.
because I'm bad at having all of those questions
Yeah,
all at
I'll
a
be
time.
reminding you.
Yeah. So what's the first question again?
The first
Mhm.
question was challenges you face
Challenges.
while
Oh, okay.
building.
Yeah. So challenges I face while building. I think it's on the customer acquisition part. I don't know if I could say that.
Yeah, yeah, I think you can
Yeah, customer
actually.
acquisition part, trying to find the right customer. I think I was watching how a startup, I've forgotten their name, was building their product. It's an AI product. They build automation for a particular niche. So they say they have it in their pipeline, acquisition pipeline, they have something they call solutioning. And solutioning is when you try to understand your customer
Mhm.
and you try to build for that customer, right? You do this for different customers, right? So you have different niche and how your automation can work for them because they
Mhm.
have different businesses,
Yeah,
right? So you try to build a solution for
for
them,
them. Try to
right?
understand them
Understand
first and
their
then
yeah,
build.
build for them. So it's interesting because it's something I'm trying to do now. Because your assumption when you're building is you think this will work for everybody. But when you get out
Yeah.
there and you see that different people use it differently, you'll be surprised. You'll be like,
Mhm.
do I need to now build this same application for 10 people? But proper solutioning and proper research helped out. I was able to understand, I started interacting with my customers rather
Yeah.
than building, right? I started interacting with them. So a challenge I faced is just understanding what the customer actually needs. That's one of the challenges, and I was able to hack that or bypass that by rather than focus on building all the time. I
Mhm.
talk to them, let them guide me,
Yeah,
right? To make sure that what they are guiding me on, they can pay for it. You
exactly.
get so the challenge was just yeah, it's just understanding the customer needs really well so that you don't waste time building. You don't just waste time building. Yeah.
Exactly.
Next question.
I understand. So I think you answered the challenges and the advice question.
Ah,
Well, yes, I think you gave some advices. Unless you want to give more advices.
so on the advice part, I think there's a common misconception people have, and that is around when you're building as a solo founder or a technical founder,
Yeah.
right? It's common among technical founders, and that's thinking that this saying you say maybe I'll just focus on building alone.
Hmm.
It's way more than that.
And perfection,
And
right?
perfection, yeah, I was
Yeah.
even going to come to that.
Yeah.
So two things are better than perfection: execution and consistency,
Hmm.
right? Those two things outperform perfection. And the reason is because the moment you start really trying to get things to be really perfect,
Hmm.
um, you see that you're not executing a lot. It's better to release and have feedback and be in that loop
Hmm.
rather than saying you need to get this button to be green or take shadow and all of those stuff,
Hmm.
right? So the most misconception I was just talking about is for technical founders, it is very, very important to notice that the startup is not just all about being technical.
Hmm.
There's a business to it, there's a legal aspect to it.
Hmm.
So it's very important for you to understand these things,
Yeah.
right? Before, I mean, build, but during building, as a solo founder or as a business or startup having two co-founders
Hmm.
or two founders, you should actually touch bases to these things,
Yeah.
right? So that's just the idea. We shouldn't just focus on building only. Have ideas about accounting, legal works, and
Exactly.
all of
Yeah.
those things. It's
Yeah.
really needed. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the last
Mm.
question: what advice have you received in the past that you wouldn't actually consider if you start building again now?
What advice have I received in the past that can you how about I throw the question back to you first?
I am the host here
No,
now.
no, no. You go first. I mean, you're a fellow founder, so you go first.
Okay. So I would turn it into an advice
Mm-hmm.
that I actually did not receive, but I actually like got it in the journey that I have been having as a founder, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but this one I'll take it. Right? That question is hard. I'll take my own advice. I'll take my own advice because most of the time I receive some very good advices from.
Mm-hmm. Actually, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the advice would be on the same rail as you talked about perfection.
Yeah.
As technical founders or as founders or builders that are more aligned to the technical side of things,
Mm-hmm.
we tend to mostly think of a perfect software that should
Perfection.
execute
Yeah. Yeah.
everything as
Mm-hmm.
required
Mm-hmm.
and forget that we actually need to build a minimum viable product, take it to market, have people use it, flip it up, down, and then at that point you now know if you are really building something that is actually needed, if you are really building something that is actually solving a problem, or if the problem that you're thinking is the problem is existing, right? So after that first iteration, that's when you now go back and let's say try to perfect the software. So that is an advice that I think through the journey that I've had as a builder and as a founder, I've received directly and indirectly too many times. And I'll take it any time of the day.
So I think generally I've gotten more of good advice than than the ones I would ignore. But a common thing I've seen is the common advice I won't take is from anybody, just not just anybody, but someone saying, "Hey, why are you working on this? Won't work." Right? There are people that do that, which is fine. I mean, I'm not going to. You live with your opinions, and you can give opinions. It's a free world, right? So what I'll just say for anyone building something out there is, no matter how small or little is like, no matter how small what you're building is, or you think what you're building is, I would advise you continue. Don't stop. It is very, very important that whatever you start, you try to finish and try your best to iterate, right? In your own mind, when you're building on yourself, maybe you're a solo founder, we're both solo founders. Maybe in your room when you have your laptop, you might think, who am I even building this for? How am I even doing this? Just try to finish it and talk to a few folks and see how it goes. Right? It is very important you have validation for what you're building rather than thinking in your head that this might not work. First try before you think it won't work. Right? And just as we agreed on, it is very, very important that you focus on execution and you try to be consistent than trying to be perfect. Right? When you're consistent, you move over and over again and you do your stuff. And if you execute, you see that you're growing. Right? So I think, I've got some more good advice. I've gotten some very nice advices from people. So
yeah, that's perfect. And I think it's a very good closing point for our episode today. Don't stop, continue building, iterate. There's actually a lot that is needed to still being built out there. And people are hungry for solutions that make their lives easier and better. Right? In many ways. Thank you very much for joining us. Please subscribe to our channel and follow us in our social media. Thank you.
See you the next episode.
See you the next episode.
Bye.
Bye-bye.